It's okay.
So am I.
It's okay. If you want to slow down, I'll talk to you more.
Hey guys, I'm Alex.
I'm Jason, and today is Table Monkeys Hand Strength, Episode 2. Alright guys, so this week we're going to finish talking about hand strength.
Yeah, so last week we covered pronation, supination, riser, and cup. And this week we're going to cover chopping, kickback, and
Some more cup.
More cup.
Yeah, always more cup.
Yeah.
Okay guys, so one of the reasons that we're going to cover the chopping and the kickback is just because it helps maintain overall health in your forearm. Because you do so much rising and so much cupping, you need to still work your extensors and your, how do you say it?
Ulnar muscles.
Ulnar muscles in order to just, again, maintain health and longevity in your wrist. It's not necessarily for like raw strength, although there are some moves where being really strong with a chop or having a really quick or effective kickback can be helpful. Okay guys, so now getting back to the cup real quick, because this is definitely the base of the hand strength pyramid, and it's the biggest muscle group in the forearm. It also is the muscle groups that control your finger flexion and your wrist flexion. They don't all tie in exactly the same, and we're not going to get into all the details of how they work, but they all do work together. So we need to train them sort of with that in mind, right? The one thing we want to go over is that there is a difference between cupping strength, which is wrist flexion, finger strength, which is holding your fingers down, and then grip strength, which is actually like squeezing something in your hand. One thing to note, especially for arm wrestling, the harder you squeeze your hand, the less integrity you have in your wrist flexion.
Yeah.
So if you see Devin, when he teaches to train his cup, he doesn't ever train his cup with anything where he's got to squeeze it at the same time. There is value to grip in arm wrestling, but we'll get into that later. If you want to train grip, we're going to talk about the grippers real quick. We're both a fan of lots of reps for this, right?
Yeah.
So right now you've been using this one, and what have you been doing? What's your protocol been?
Right now I've been using this guy right here. It's 25 kilos, so it's pretty light. What I've been doing is doing about 40 reps and then holding for about 20 seconds.
Yeah, I love those kind of sets. That's what I do a lot too.
Yeah, it's kind of like the end of my workout. I just want to get a little extra hand pump.
Yeah. Alright guys, so the first exercise we're going to show you is the chop.
Alright, so this is a dynamic chop exercise. If you saw our last video, we demoed the riser exercise. This is the exact opposite setup strap.
So it's going to go between your first and second knuckle, but it's going to come from your pinky instead of over your index finger like the riser.
Right, so during the movement, you're going to push your pinky into the strap in a downward motion.
Using that, what is it?
Ulnar deviation.
Can't say that damn word. You chop into the strap, that's what you do. You chop into the strap.
Yeah, just like that. So this is a static variation of that chop exercise we just did. We could combine it with a tricep extension. So this is more about maintaining wrist integrity throughout the movement. So same setup in the strap. And then we're just going to extend at the elbow.
Alright guys, next exercise we're going to show you is the kickback. We're going to show you a dynamic one and then we'll show you a static one. They're very, very similar, so I'm just going to throw them together. So the first thing I do, I get the band tight or weight or whatever, and the strap is going over my wrist and over my index finger, like this. So the same way I would wrap it if I was going to do supination, but I'm stopping here, and then I'm just going to kick back into the band, like that. Okay, and I'll do lots and lots of reps that way. And then the other way I like to do it is a static weight. So now I'm going to hold my wrist integrity here, so I don't want my wrist to bend over like that. And I'm just going to do external rotation with my shoulder. And external rotation for your shoulders is great maintenance for arm wrestling because we're internally rotating so much. So. Alright guys, so now we're going to talk about finger strength, which as we mentioned in the beginning of the video is different than gripping strength. Gripping strength being like how hard you can squeeze an object in your hand, and finger strength being how much weight you can contain while keeping your fingers flat. A lot of people do like flat finger pull-ups, like Jerry Cataret does that at 330 pounds, which is mind-blowing to me. This is a spinning Mazurenko handle with the finger attachment, so it's going to keep, it's going to fight into my fingers and try to roll out of my hand. You can get a board and put a strap coming around the other side. You can do a lot of different things. Some people just fight a plate, but the idea is that you want to strengthen your ability to contain your opponent inside your fingers. And then we're going to do dynamic and static, and we're going to show you sort of how Alex described it. He does it with the gripper, where I'm going to do some reps where I actually flex and go through the dynamic movement, and then I'm also going to just hold it. And you can do it with a band, you can do it with weight off the floor. If I was in a gym, I would use a stack.
The stack, eh?
Yeah. I miss those. I really miss the gym. I don't know about you guys, but I miss Fortis. I miss you, Fortis, so bad.
Miss you, Sean.
Squeeze!
So because last week we only showed static variations of pronation and supination, here are a couple dynamic versions you can do.
So what you're going to do is take the strap and put your thumb through it, so it's going over the meaty part of your thumb, and then you're going to hang the weight off of the table or anything where you can secure your elbow so that you can completely isolate the rotation in your wrist. And then Alex is going to let the weight roll over. Once his palm is flat, he'll fight back on the concentric motion and roll his wrist, cup, and roll.
Alright guys, so this is the supination variation. You're going to take your thumb through and it's going to pull down through your pinky side, and securing your elbow onto the table, you're going to isolate the supination and you're going to rotate your wrist upwards through your pinky.
Alright, so we're going to go back to the trusty Mazurenko handle. This time it's just a straight spinner. To show you one more exercise for cup.
Because you can never have enough cup.
Exactly.
So you're going to have your elbow secured on the table, and then this is going to isolate that wrist flexion.
And you can do it with your thumb over or your thumb under. When I do thumb under, I like to tuck it actually under my finger as if I was holding somebody's hand.
Don't we miss that?
Well, we hold each other's hands.
Alright guys, that's the end of the video. We finished covering the hand, and obviously the hand is a super complex strength. There's many ways to train it, and we just covered a few, but we'll continue covering the hand as we go through the next three strengths.
Being curling strength, pulling strength, and pressing strength. If you saw our strict curl video, you know that we covered curling strength a little bit. We're going to get more in depth now and start talking about it sort of the same way we did with the hand, how it relates to the table, and the different ways you're going to train it to be more effective on the table, as well as with the pulling and the pressing strength.
And we have our next strict curl attempt coming up soon.
So keep your eyes out for that.
Alright guys, so if you like the video, please like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment if you have any feedback.
And like we said last week, message us if you want to get together and arm wrestle. Hopefully this quarantine is over and we can all get back to tournaments and practice soon.
Go! Oh, and that hook, honey, try it. It's a story, not moving too much. Try this over with a big win. Joe is open, and that hook, honey, is on. Here comes the come on!